What's up? What's up? Welcome. I'm actually trying to get some things out of the truck because I'm trying to get my chains back in here, my chain law required chains, because I have a feeling we're going to be going to Denver sometime, or maybe Colorado or something like that. I don't necessarily have a load just yet, but I have a feeling I will here pretty soon. It looks like actually the Amazon is getting pretty busy. So I'm gonna go ahead and be ready for it. The plan this weekend is actually to be in Salt Lake area. You know, I don't think I have the bobtail over there, but if I did, I will. Because bobtail is a lot, or I mean, not bobtail, but Salt Lake, so much busier, man. It's Salt Lake is just, it's the hub right now, at least for what I do, right? Like when you do these little runs, so welcome everyone. When you do these short runs, right? It's, you really can do them, you know, as often as you want, or all night if you wanted to, you know. So I see that the Salt Lake area, those short runs are actually a dime a dozen. So I'm gonna start making my way over there, at least for the weekend, you know. So I'm looking for a load. I'm looking for a load, right, to get me in the area. There was a couple of load that was going to Denver, the Denver area, and I wanted to take one of them, but I know I got quite a few of deadhead or bobtail to get out of that area. I mean, I know, like, freaking, whatchamacallit is looking really good, actually. Denver to the Omaha, like Nebraska, but I can't go that far. I can't go that far if I don't take the little one with me. Now, I can't take the little one with me that far. That's just too far for her. So that's why I was talking to the bot, right? I was talking to the chat bot, and I was talking to him for like a couple hours, man. I was trying to get this one load to go to $3,200 from here straight to Colorado Springs. That would have been good. That would have been good. For 32, I would have taken it, and I would have had to bobtail maybe towards like Phoenix, you know, and would still be happy. So, but I am taking my things out of here, like the chains and binders and stuff, just so I can put my tire chains in the truck. What's going on? Havoc TV. So, let me see. I gotta have my chains because, as you guys know, Colorado requires you to have your tire chains with you, even if it's not snowing or you don't have to use them. You have to have them readily available, and they will check too. Colorado will check. Mesquite. I did not know they make a lot of sodas over there. Wow. That's new to me. Mesquite. What company? What soda company? What's going on, Parker? You watching this in the new computer, man? Parker got himself in trouble and bought a new computer, and it's a little pricey one too. Hello, Layla. Layla's life. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, I wanted to. So, when it's time for me to like, when somebody or when the insurance company comes back at me and say, "Hey, listen," and it's looking like it's that way. Hey, listen, we're not gonna be able to get your insurance rate down. Okay, I think I have no other choice. I wish it was the other way around. But I think we're gonna have to shut it down. And when we do that step, right? If that's the step gotta take, what I'm planning on doing, right, is I'm not doing anything anyway in the house, right? I will be whatchamacallit. I want to do live stream, right? I want to live stream on YouTube constantly, just so mainly for the purpose of I want to talk about trucking, right? Mostly trucking, and I want to help out those guys that are in need to be dispatched. I'm gonna have it all set up, right? That's why I bought this computer. I bought this computer. I pulled the trigger on this $3,500 doggone computer just so I can do all of this, right? I have a computer that'll be able to do it, but I need a computer that is mobile, Anyway, I want to be able to help out these people, right? Help out new carriers, specifically new carriers, and possibly, learn how to dispatch and things like that. What y'all think about that? I think I like that idea. I think it'll help the people that are needing, needing it. Wow, where's that guy coming from? Look at that. Look at that. That's a big old cat. Where is he going? There's absolutely nothing here. That's a big old cat right there. There is nothing here. Where is he going? Right, Parker? Yes. Anyway, that's where the direction I want to go. I told you guys I want to be more active on YouTube. There's a few things I want to try out on YouTube, and I want trucking to be involved in there. So I think I'm actually just gonna leave the regular chains on there. I don't think I need them. I can put all my No, I'm not talking. Listen, Parker, I'm not talking about like full-time dispatching. I'm talking about like just helping out people, man. Just carriers that need help. And they'd be like, "Hey, man," someone who's like, "Hey, man, listen, I've never dispatched myself before, and I'm in this predicament. How would I do it?" Then you'd be like, "Okay." And then we can talk about it, and we can look at the load board live, and have run through, make calls and things like that. I think I like that. I think I like that idea. No, I'm not talking about full-time dispatching, Parker. That seems like a pain in the butt, man. So I think that's all the change. I think I just need, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get my thing. I don't know if you guys have this type of car. This is the GMC Terrain. This thing has a lot of room. Like, it's stinking roomy inside. I'm gonna get the ramp stands, just so they're just not sitting there. I'm gonna put them in the car as well. Okay. Wow, where was that guy going? He was pulling. He had a big old cat with him. Right by the trucks. Oh, you know what, man? I think I pulled some of those before. Not pull the actual cans themselves, but I have delivered to them before. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You talking about that Flying J truck stop, right? The one on top of the hill. Cool kid. I don't think Amazon Relay, I don't think any platform is good to just sit around and do unless you got some type of contract with them. If you're doing like just like load board or whatever, you know what I mean, just spot market access, I don't think that's a good thing with any platform, really. You know, you have to be. I mean, I'm just answering specific, right? I think you have to be able to switch gears. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to really switch gears. For me, if you ask me, man, instead of if you're a very crafty individual, you know, and you stay out on the road a lot, for me, power only is the way to go. Now, there's a few things that you gotta do on that power only. Okay, you can't just be just like power only. Okay, you got to be able to pick up load out trailer. You got to be able to pick up regular power only. You got to be able to pick up what you might call it, a hitch, right? You got to be able to have a hitch. You got to be. I mean, there's a lot of things that appeal, specifically on the DAT. What I am seeing, I think power only is the way to go. If you're OTR full time, but you have to put this attachment on your truck. I was seeing around like Ohio, they will do it for you. They will weld this fifth wheel plate, right, or this hitch plate. It's like a 30K hitch plate behind, right, and they'll put that on, and then they'll rework your lights and things like that, right? And I think it was like around 3,000 or 4,000. I think that's the way to go, if you ask me. The reason for that is because sometimes people are looking for, you know, a bumper connection. Sometimes they're looking for, you got to be able to hook, what is those things called? Those ball, right? The RV ball. You know what I mean? If you can do all of that in one truck, I think that's the way to go. Yeah, I think, man, really, I think a lot of people make a mistake on really, to be honest, is people see the dollar sign instead of actually knowing that market, you know what I mean, or the market that they're going into. As soon as they see that dollar sign, they're like, oh man, that's good money, right? Let me go there, you know, let me go take this load. Even if I can just take, you know what I mean, $1.50, like let's say coming from stinking Kansas City to Denver area with flatbed, right? I see them all the time going $4 a mile. People do it all the time, but more than likely you'll have to head back home to Kansas City, okay? Unless you wanna take some crappy ass load that'll pay like $1.20 or whatever. But that's a waste of time, I think, in my opinion. If you take $1.20 going back, say not even to Kansas City, say within the area, that's still a waste of time, I think. I have done contracts with Amazon. Believe it or not, the dispatch part, man, I was actually just thinking about doing it for free, man. Really, I'm not even thinking about this, charging anything, because I don't want to do it full time, right? I just want to. I think it'll help out. There was actually, I remember correctly. Yes, I have done Amazon contracts, but somebody somebody threw a doggone sandwich right here on top of the bed. Maybe they're getting tired of my bed being here or my trailer being here. But yes, I have done contracts with Amazon. And Southern California, for me, they're not worth it. On average, all year long, they're going to be paying around $1,300. After fuel surcharge, it's going to be $1,500. And running in California, IFTA is going to kill you. IFTA is just going to straight up rape you, unless you want to freaking pay that fuel they charge for, you know what I mean, $1 more than the surrounding states, you know. So, yeah, I think California contract is not worth it. Not at the average rate that they go. Right now, contracts in the Southern California, at least in the Vegas area, they were offering them for $2,200, $2,300, which after fuel surcharge, that's going to be around $2600 or something like that. But you'll be running from or from here to Las Vegas, from Las Vegas to Southern California area. On average, you're gonna be running about 950 miles on that contract. So 2500, 950, it's almost what, 270 a mile, right? So it's not bad right now. But now imagine that. Put that into perspective of a $1,300 37-hour solo contract. That's a big hit, man. That's half, right? You'll be averaging what, $1.60 all miles? That's ridiculous, man. That's freaking ridiculous. I don't think anybody could survive at $1.60. I mean, even as a power only, you know. I believe last 2024, beginning of 2024, I made a video, can you survive on $2 a mile? You can't survive on $2 a mile, but why would you? You know what I mean? Even as a power only, I don't think you should be doing that. I think around 220, maybe a little higher, you know, but $2 a mile, all miles as a PO, I don't even think that's good enough. Might as well just be a company driver if you're gonna do that. Yeah, I agree. Anything below under $2, yep. You may not be able to feel it right away, but you will start feeling it as soon as that truck starts quitting on you. You know, as soon as that truck starts saying, "Hey, I'm in pain here. I got a back pain. I got a freaking tire chain. My boots is not looking good." So. Excuse the noise. I'm trying to get all these things out. Okay, I think that's actually we can break the window. Okay. Yeah. As far as like the dispatching part, man, if I was to do a dispatching full time for somebody, yeah, of course. I mean, I think I got a charge there, right? I think if I was just giving somebody a hint every now and then, you know, I don't see any way for me to, you know, justify that charge. You know what I mean? Or that money or whatever, right? But to answer that question, the dispatching part, you know, I think at the moment it's gonna be for free. You know, I'll just be doing it for free. We'll be doing it live, right? We'll be live on this platform right here, and then you can just fire away your questions, or if you're looking for a load from a certain area, be like, okay, I got one for you. What do you think about this? I think this is a good deal. You know, if you're a van or if you're a flatbed going to this area, I think this is a good rate. Let's go. You want to go take it? You know, I would not be doing the deed with you if it's in that case, if it's during live, you know what I mean? And then you like, I can't, we don't have enough time to set up everything, right? Get everything, all the proper paperwork set up and caught up and everything before that load disappears off the load board. So what would happen is I would give you that phone number, and then you just give them a call, or I can just call them for you, and then be like, you can call them back and be like, hey man, I just got somebody helping me out. Hey, listen, you said you were good with this rate. Can you still do this rate? You know what I mean? Something like that, you know? If only for the insurance purposes, man. If the insurance, see, I have to stay doing what I do now, okay? And if the insurance goes up, man, or stays the same, I think if it stays the same, I might think about it. But if it goes up, even just a little bit, I can't do it, man. I cannot afford to just sit around like for the past 8 months, like what I've been doing, to let this sit and just collect dust. You know what I mean? That's all it's been doing, right? Because of that, right? Now, if insurance do go up, you're like, well, why don't you hire a driver, right? Yeah, that was also an idea, but I needed the insurance to go down. You know what I mean? If I bring on a driver, and specifically somebody somebody who has probably, let's just say, not so good of a record, right? Their insurance will go up. You know what I mean? So it's just that's yeah. I mean, definitely thinking about getting rid of the truck. The truck is going to be easy to get rid of because I do have the title on that truck. The trailer, a little different. A little different. I don't got the title on that trailer, you know. So there's a few. I got a couple of options, but they're very limited. I can't. Dark Maine. I cannot drive, man. I cannot drive full time because I am taking care of a toddler at home. I can't drive full time. I can't. Like I wish I could, man, but I cannot. If I drive full time, you know, like I could probably drive like part time for somebody within the area. You know what I mean? And specifically allowing me to bring the toddler with me every now and then, but that's a lot to ask of somebody. You know what I mean? Specifically, somebody's authority, right? You know, like me, I just take the little one with me because I just don't care because this is my insurance, right? And my name is on it, you know, and I run the doggone thing. So if insurance says something, you know what? That's fine. You know, I will be taking that responsibility and be like, yeah, I did it, you know, but I don't want to put that on somebody who's, you know what I mean, who's an owner operator, be like, yeah, you can take it, but they're just, you know what I mean, they haven't cleared it, you know, or if the insurance has not cleared it for them, then they get in trouble, then I feel bad. So yeah, we got a lot of things coming up soon, and it's very soon too. As a matter of fact, I just called the insurance company or my agent yesterday, and she's like, it's not looking good because everybody's rate is going up. I said, okay, yeah. Selling the numbers, man. Havoc, Texas. Y'all know how I feel about fraud and scammers. Selling the numbers, I think, is a bad idea. Specifically, the ones that are looking for Amazon. Those guys are really looking to buy just to scam somebody with an Amazon account. You know what they do, how that happens, right? They will book, they will find a good number on DAT. They will advertise as that number, okay, as that DOT number or whatever, right? And those bogus loads. And what they will do is they will send that carrier to Amazon to go pick that up after they booked it under, let's say I sold my account to them. Under my account, it will sell, and then boom, they will book all of these doggone loads. And the carrier doesn't never get paid, ever, you know? So I think that's a really bad thing. I don't want to do that, knowing that that's a possibility that somebody will scam another, you know, a carrier for it. You know, I think that's that's not in my blood. You know what I mean? That's not in my what you call it. That's not something you would see me do ever. You know. So, and if even have a little gut feeling that it will happen, there's no shot that I would sell, you know, a company or the numbers for somebody to scam somebody. You know, I would never do that. So I'm not saying that they will. Whoever buys the numbers, I'm not saying that they will. I'm just saying the possibility of something like that happening. Like how am I gonna vet them? You know what I mean? How am I gonna know that's what they're gonna do? How am I gonna know that they're gonna run it legit? You know what I mean? Okay, I think that's it. Did the FedEx double load ever responded to your offer? No, they never did, man. They never did, Parker. Busy, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Ooh, it's getting cold, man. Freaking weather is so cold over here. Anyway, yeah. I think that's something I want to tackle. You know what I mean? Being able to dispatch people out, help people out, like let's say if they're in a bind in a certain area, you know what I mean? Like what kind of game plan you think we can tackle, I think we can talk about that, that hey, if you do this, you do that, you might you might lose out, you might have to deadhead bobtail or whatever, but if you explain it to them properly, I guarantee you next time they're not doing that thing, you know what I mean? And they're not, like, I see people all the time coming from, let's say, Davenport, Iowa, going to Salt Lake City on a flatbed, paying $3 a mile. That sounds like a good deal, right? That is not a good deal at all. Not even a little bit. Not on the open deck, not on the open deck. So, yeah, I mean, those are some of the things that I wish that people would know better, so they don't book those doggone loads. You know what I mean? Specifically, if you're coming from Davenport area with an open deck, that's you could literally go to freaking Omaha for $4 a mile and just deadhead back over there and do the same thing over again. You know what I mean? It just I think that's a lot better option than going all the way to Salt Lake City and then deadhead all the way back to freaking Omaha area or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, I'm thinking those, I'm thinking doing something like that, just to help people out, man. This is true, yeah. Havoc, for sure. I mean, I know it can be done, it can happen. You know what I mean? But I think I know 100% I can dispatch any open deck, flatbed or step deck. Now, when it comes to van, I think I can dispatch those as well. I mean, like dispatching, right? It's not just being able to dispatch somebody out. It's also about where are they going, how is that going to affect them on their coming back or going to a different area, how is that going to affect them, you know what I mean? I see a lot of dispatchers be like, man, I got a $4 a mile load for you, and then the next thing you know, you're in a freaking Minot, North Dakota, you know what I'm saying? So it's just those are some of the things I think a dispatcher, right? I know you know that, you said it earlier, that I think a dispatcher should know, but when it comes to different commodity, right? I don't think as far as, like, let's say reefer or something like that, I don't think I'm versed enough to do that. I'm well versed in that particular area. So that's why I don't think charging for that. Like, if I was to charge somebody on a van or a flatbed or a step deck, I think I could do that. I can confidently do that. That their money is worth it. I guess that's where I'm coming from. Really, is that is my customers' money worth it? You know what I mean? Did they pay good their money? Is their money worth? Was it worth their time on their money? I guess I should say that. You know, um, that's where I know I'm probably overthinking it, but it's all right. Like I said, I don't. One thing I don't want is ripping somebody up or feeling ripped off because of me or because of what I did or said. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, absolutely, absolutely. I think we can definitely help people out. I think that's where I want to start. Dark man, you should be a broker and you'll be able to work from home. Yeah. Man, when it comes to brokerage, right? I think the problem with me, man, I'm too honest, right? I don't want people getting, the bad impression of me. For some reason, I feel like people should uh, know my image, and my image is like I'm a very honest person. I don't take advantage of people. And if being a broker, I feel like that's the only thing they see me as is a bad person. You know what I mean? Even though you're probably doing something very honest, people will probably see you still as some scumbag, right? because just because you're in that industry, you know what I mean. And the reason why I'm saying that, right, is because if an opportunity presents itself, right, and I will take it. I'm not gonna lie to you. So let's say something is paying $4,000 and it's way pay. I'm able to convince somebody to pay $4,000 on a lane, and it does not need to pay that much. Now, how would I present that to the carrier? You know what I mean? I think most 99% of the brokers will pay based on what that lane is paying, right? So if that lane is only paying 2K, they might pay 2,200. The carrier is gonna feel really good, and then I took home 1,800. I don't think that's a good deal. You know, I don't know. It just don't feel like a good deal. For me, on my even though the carrier doesn't know, I cannot. I don't think I'll be able to sleep at night knowing that that happened. I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like I will, uh, you know, I will put brokers make the spread all year round. December brokers lose money on loads to keep contracts. Yeah, I probably believe that. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think really, I wanna. My main thing, man, is I want to create some type of platform that helps out with the trucking industry. You know, I don't want to be just like, you know what I mean, just another sucking blood out of the industry itself, right? Um, I think I feel like I have uh, knowledge enough. I'm knowledgeable enough to be able to help out, you know. And I think dispatching somebody out, like especially a new carrier, you know what I mean, having giving them a little bit of guidance. I think that's one way to go, you know. So maybe, you know, just hopefully that broker, I mean, that particular carrier eventually will learn enough that it will, you know what I mean, that it affects the industry enough to where rates will be solid and more improved, you know what I mean, to where uh, they're actually, what you call it, they're actually stable, you know what I mean. I think that's one of the main reason why trucking for me is that there's such a high turnover rate, because people just doesn't know it enough, you know what I mean, are not knowledgeable enough with it, and they jump in. A lot of people jump in thinking that they're gonna make a whole bunch of money and easy money. There's no such thing as easy money, right? Easy money, that means there's probably something behind that. There's something lurking behind that, you know. It's You always got to look for the honest, and you know what I mean. Yeah, simpler life, you know. I mean, at least for me, you know. I don't think I was ever made for the corporate life, you know what I mean, where everything is, you know, backstabbing and things like that. You know, that's why I can never get a 9 to 5 really. It's because I used to have one, but it just I can never do it because of that reason, you know, is that you got to suck up to this, you got to do this, you got to do that. No. Anthony Ramos, ¿cómo está, man? Work from home office, yeah, yeah. Would they take you as a dispatcher? Actually, they would. The actual owner of Truckland would take me as a dispatcher, but I have to show up to the office. That's that's a big problem for me. I know I could probably find some type of way to make it right, to make it happen, uh, but again, it goes to that same thing. You know, we don't want a babysitter. We don't want to put the little one to the babysitter. Uh, that's because some of the stories I hear about babysitters, right? That's one of the main thing. That's one of the main reason why we're having such a hard time, because babysitting is something else, man. You know, a lot of people are not what they might be on the surface. You know what I mean? Maybe when they get mad or frustrated or something, you know what I'm saying? You never know what's happening, or what's happening with your toddler, right? When you have a babysitter, what happens behind the scene, you know. So that's the only reason why we don't want to get a babysitter. And even if you get a babysitter, you find a good babysitter, the problem is now you got to pay that babysitter, right? Now you got to put that in consideration. Are you like as a dispatcher, if I'm a dispatcher, I think a truck line I would be like maybe around 40 or 45K as a dispatcher. Now, let's put that into perspective. Now, if I'm paying a babysitter, full-time babysitter, then you see what I mean? It's just like it's one of those things. Like, really, is that really worth it? You know, is that really worth it for me to be dispatching 24 or full time and then having making maybe probably cut 30% of that, you know, to be at the for a babysitter and things like that, and then the other 30% for your taxes, and then you're like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's just I don't get the point there. You know, like I think if I was like maybe around 70, 80K as a dispatcher, you know, I don't think anybody does that. You know, so but yeah, that's where we are, man. Like I said, the insurance doesn't sound good. It doesn't look good. You know, it's not looking how I imagine it to be. You know, even even other insurance companies, it's gonna be the same, man. It's not gonna be different. You know, especially if you have an agent. If you have an agent, because they're looking at other providers, right? Every other providers that they can possibly, you know, work with that carrier or whatever, right? And with my record as or the carrier or the company's record, I don't think there should be. There's not gonna be any company that's not gonna work with me. Uh, Somebody sent me an email today, and they were like, "Hey, Great West is willing to work with you." See, the problem with that, I already got a quote with Great West. Not, they didn't give me 100% quote yet, but the outcome of it doesn't look good. You know, the prediction does not look good. So, yeah, it's one of those things. That's the only thing. The only thing I'm gonna really have a hard time with is the step deck. Really, for me to shut down, the only thing I'm gonna really have a hard time with is the step deck. Now, what I was thinking about doing is I haven't spoken to Parker about it. It's just park it over there at Parker's. You know, I'm sure he's not gonna have a problem with it. So, and then probably get this truck ready to sell or whatever. You know. So if that time comes, so yeah, we will see. It's a tough one. I mean, I'd love to stay in trucking. I love trucking, believe it or not, I really do. Uh, but it just for the past 8 months, I've been thinking hard about it, and it just doesn't make sense for me to continue on with it. You know, like I said, unless the insurance go down, I don't think I'll be continuing on. See that? I knew Parker would do it. So I mean, it's the tag is there. It's fully registered. You know what I mean? It's non-expiry freaking tag. So uh, you Parker probably put it under his insurance and start hauling those doggone bathtubs. You know, so or pools. Those pools, not the bathtubs, but the pools. You know, so. See, ain't no problem with that, man. Use it for whatever you want, man. But yeah, that's what we're looking at, man. You know, like I said, like my payment on that trailer, right? It's only $1,200 a month. That doesn't hurt me that much, you know. Uh, but when you add on, like if I continue on operating and then you have your insurance with that, that's where it starts piling on quite a bit. You know what I mean? And then your yearly registration for the truck, you know, that starts piling on quite a bit. You know, uh, it's sad. It really is sad. I'm saddened that if I do have to shut it down, I'm saddened because I really didn't want to, but it looks like we don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, but I will never open back up. There's a zero chance I would ever open back up. You know. It's just that it's just too much pain, man. It's too much. It's too much that you gotta go through as a beginner. You know what I mean? In the beginning stages of trucking as a carrier, it's just too much, man. It's too much headache that you gotta go through. Everybody treats you like you're new. You know what I mean? And It's just crazy. That insurance is just a scam in trucking, man. That's one of the biggest scam in trucking is the insurance. You think some of these brokers, that are taking so much off the top, or your biggest scammers really is the insurance for me, you know, because the broker did the work for that to find that load, right? And they're they're compensated based on what type of work they put in behind in finding that load. But insurance, the only thing that they did is they started lobbying the government. That's the only thing they did. Lobbying the government. I mean, yes, that takes money, right? But I'm pretty sure they done made their freaking money tenfolds more the one that they lobby it for. So, um, yeah, it's insane, man. The trucking insurance, I think, is the biggest scam. I actually probably any insurance, any insurance is big old scam, But anyway, yeah, that's the update, man. I think I'm gonna be pretty busy this weekend. It looks like I'm gonna be making it my way to Salt Lake, you know, and probably do a bunch of short runs over there. There was a couple of loads I was looking at, and I was talking to the bot about earlier, but it's just nothing come to fruition. Really, I should have taken that one load that was paying $3.50 a mile going into Colorado Springs, but I know I would have to deadhead bobtail quite a few miles, you know, just to get anywhere decent, at least with Amazon. But at least for the weekend. If it was a weekday, I think I probably would have taken it because I know I probably could have pulled some type of, towaway or some type of load out coming out of that area, and then come back towards west, But it's a weekend. There's no shot that I'd be able to do that unless I just do it with Amazon. Dang, really? Probably with Van though, right? Yeah. Man, that's nice. That's nice, Parker. See, Parker's doing real good, man. Parker is just doing real good. Whatever he's doing it right. That's why if you guys haven't done so, you might want to follow him on his channel, man. It's just Parker's doing something right, So whatever he's doing it right. He's doing the right thing. Let me see. Alan says, be careful in Salt Lake with weather, man. Slept outside of the Salt Lake Thursday, calling for a big snow. Saturday. Okay. Yeah. Now, yeah, I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Parker about this earlier. I would rather operate in weathers like that. Why? Why, you may ask? Because everybody else don't want to. That's why. I do it. You know what I mean? Because I got no problem driving in snow, right? I got no problems, doing my experience-wise, and I know anything could happen, right? But it makes me more comfortable and confident that there's going to be more experienced people driving the area when that weather, starts dropping, right? So really, I don't mind it, heck, in March or something like that, I was stuck in doggone Nebraska in a snowstorm. I would say that was the hardest snowstorm I have ever been under, man. That was a snowstorm. Everything was knocked out, right? All the power was out, and I was in the truck for over 30 some hours, man. And I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of here. So yeah. But as far as the weather, I don't mind going up there, really. Should you buy Kilo Pasado? Should I buy a truck right now? For me, man, it's never a bad time to buy a truck. But you gotta have a game plan, right? You gotta make sure like, I think if you're just getting into the industry, and I would say if you're asking this question, I think you're not ready. If you're just getting into the industry. But if you're already in the industry, I think it's always a good time to buy a truck. There's never a bad time to buy a truck, especially if you can get it to work right away. I guess that's my main point. If the truck can go to work right away without it sitting collecting dust, and you know what I mean, and you just pouring money into it nonstop, uh, yeah, definitely don't buy it, you know. But I think if you can put it to work right away and you're already in operation and you already know your process, you know, you already established some type of process that you can, you know what I mean, start making money with it. Absolutely. I think even a $150,000 truck would still be okay. You know what I mean? If you already know what you're doing, you know, if you already have that uh, you know, mind frame or game plan, or you're already established, you know. uh, I would say buy trucks from the auction, man. If you're gonna buy a truck, buy it from the auction, man. So much cheaper, man. You gotta buy the fleet ones. You don't be buying the doggone single owners, man. You gotta buy the ones you can pretty much tell the obvious things about what a fleet truck would look like, you know, or what uh, based on their color, based on, you know what I mean, the way they're set up, you can pretty much tell if they are fleet trucks. I think fleet trucks are good to hunt down when it comes to auction. You know, such as like Walmart, right? They start getting rid of their trucks at like 600,000 miles, 620,000 miles. Those are always good trucks to buy. Walmart, you know, because they have good maintenance, right? They have good maintenance record. So it says, pick a make, a model, color. Actions are jam packed full of trucks. Auctions, yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I'm telling you, auction is the way to go. If I was looking into buying trucks, auction is the way to go. Yeah, yeah. But you gotta make sure, like I said, you gotta make sure you gotta think about just like what he said, right? Pick a make and model and color, and then also you gotta make sure you know your engines. Okay, I would highly recommend. That's the only reason why I'm saying this, because I have experience with them, right? Cummins, Cummins. If you're a single owner operator and you work on your own stuff, I would say definitely go with the Cummins. You know, if you have some type of mechanical background or whatever. The reason why I'm saying that, because most everybody can get into the Cummins, and it's cheaper when it comes to repairing it or parts and things like that, compared to say Packard, right? Packard, man, it's just nobody wants to touch it, you know, and it's because it's a newer, right? It's newer, a lot newer than Cummins. Cummins is much more established, so you'll have a lot more footprint there. You know what I mean? So I would definitely suggest Cummins. And Parker just say, trucks aren't getting cheaper. If you can afford it now, it's a good time. That's true. I absolutely 100% agree with that. But you should probably have a maintenance fund in. Yup, you 100%. You gotta have maintenance funds, man. That you know me, I took a lot of chances because I know these trucks very well, right? I am very versed on how to fix these trucks, on how to troubleshoot these trucks. So I would not suggest somebody taking the same way I have done because of that reason. You know, if you rely solely a lot on mechanics and somebody to fix your trucks and things like that, on it's like little things, I would absolutely discourage you from not having a maintenance fund. I would also discourage you from auctions, uh, unless you get somebody, like, let's say there's an auction in Denver and you're not in Denver. Let's say you're in freaking Oklahoma City or Phoenix. Um, Send a mechanic out there, man. Go look on Facebook, see what mechanics are willing to go into there, and then go check out a truck and see how much they charge. You know what I mean? I think that's worth the money. You know, uh, is because it's at least they'll have an actual eyes on that vehicle, you know what I mean, and they'll be able to tell you, hey, you know, I think it's good to go, you know. So maybe that's something that we can do, you know what I mean, like if you're willing to buy auction, like let's say somebody a carrier wants to buy like 10 or 12 freaking trucks from the auction. Hey, go ahead, fly me over there, man. pay me this such and such, I'll go check them all out, you know what I mean? And I'll let you know if I think they're good or not. I actually would love to do that, that if let's say I can travel to California or maybe over here, go check out the trucks. If you're looking into a truck, hey, let me know. Come that hey, there's this truck I'm looking at, and we'll can you go take a look at it for me? Yeah, sure. Do auctions let you test drive? Yes, absolutely. Yes. I don't know, like you have to call the auctioneer, right? For you to do that, but they definitely allow you to go there and check it out physically. Okay. Because it's not, if you can convince, if they can convince you, to go buy it, that's money in their pocket. It's not their truck, you know what I mean? If the truck is crap, it's not on them, you know what I mean? They're just trying to get rid of it so they can get their commission. That's it. Yeah, there you go. Kilo Pasado says, yeah, sure, I'll pay. Heck yeah, man. I would be willing to go to anywhere, for anybody to go check out a truck for them. I think if that was, if man, that would be amazing. It's just like checking out trucks for somebody for at the auction. Heck yeah, I'd do it, man. Like and I think, as a matter of fact, story time, right? I got somebody that I met here sometime 2 years ago, beginning of 2024. He bought dealership, and then I was over there in the yard with him. I was like, man, why did you buy dealership, right? He paid like $70,000 for this truck that was 4 years old, and it had like 300,000 miles, something like that, right? 2024, I think I was a little high. Okay. So anyway, I was like, man, you got to go check out the auctions. And I feel bad. The reason for that, man, because he did go check out the auction, and he called me up about sometime this year, beginning of this year, I believe. Yeah. It was like July, June or something like that. And he bought from the auction, and he got himself a lemon, man. And he drove it off the yard. See, that's the thing with auctions. You can change your mind if you don't like that truck. But he drove that thing off the yard and then took it to Vegas, and boom, that thing needed a freaking new engine, man. So the reason why, because he didn't know what he was looking at. He didn't know where to look, what signs, you know what I mean? The signs that was telling him. I know there were signs that were telling him, hey, listen, I'm not good to go. I can't be on the road. But he didn't know that, you know what I mean? And it cost him, man. It's like he got it off the auction for $40K, I believe. And it was a decent truck, but he drove it off the lot, man. As soon as you drive it off the lot, I think auctioneers have a lot more strict, when it comes to driving it off the lot. And he drove it off the lot, and as soon as he got home, man, that thing was done. It's like it's blowing coolant. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, but that's what I mean, though. There were signs when he did that. There were signs that were telling him that, hey, listen, you might want to go check this out. You know what I mean? But if you don't know these signs or these signals, and you know what I mean, then you don't know, right? I would never suggest somebody buying off the auction without actually having the confidence that it's going to be a good truck. Okay. Me, I can actually tell. I can tell if they gave me a snippet of the video, and I do this all the time, even like at that one place that sells a lot of long hoods, right? In Ohio. Yeah, Ohio Truck Sales, right? I look at their stuff, I look at the videos. Those videos are very important, especially when they open the freaking the oil crankcase, right? And you can tell you have some type of idea, and then looking at it from, you know what I mean, from outside looking in, and see how that truck, you can actually tell pretty much how that truck was taken care of. You know what I mean? How was it cared for? So yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, that's where we are, man. It's just it's It could. I mean, either way, it's not something. I'm not that sad about it because like it's just. I know it's just another chapter, right? One thing I can tell you for sure, 100%, I'm not getting a 9 to 5. Uh, I can't do that. I can't get a 9 to 5. I cannot deal with people, man. Not like you know what I mean. It's just like it's there's so much politics when you do a 9 to 5. I can't do that. That's 100%. That's why I'm looking for different ways to create some type, generate some type of income. You know, I initially wanted to dispatch. If you guys know, like 2023, I wanted to dispatch, but at that time, I don't think I was ready knowledge wise with the industry, you know, as far as like, you know, dispatching people out strategically. That's why I never really went through with it, you know, um, like dispatching somebody out full time, you know. But if you ask me now, I guarantee you 100%, I have every confidence that I can do it, you know. It doesn't even matter what type of outfit, you know. I think I have enough knowledge with numbers and how I see numbers, you know, with the industry that I can confidently just be like, yeah, you know, wing it all the time, even on different commodity, across platform, you know. So as far as like, you know, as far as like, I think, if I was dispatching somebody full time, I think the people that will benefit the most is somebody who's like, you know, open deck because of the fact that I can, what you call it, I can help them out even with like OD, oversize, and things like that. That's a whole nother animal. You know what I mean? That they can get into. That they, you know, I'm pretty well versed with OD, and I can save them a lot of money by not going to another third party to where they charge them freaking $45 for every state. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Nah, trucking without a clue. I like that name. Anyway, yes, no, I'm not gonna sell the numbers. We're just gonna inactive them because the risk of somebody having, you know, scamming somebody because of that. That's the reason why I don't want to freaking I don't want a carrier being scammed because of my numbers. You know, that's I think if I can confidently say that the person that's that's gonna, you know, get the numbers or take over the numbers can say that, hey, I or I know them personally or whatever, you know, that I don't want to I want to take over the numbers. That's fine with me. You know what I mean? But just any stranger, man, I can't do that, man. I can't sleep. I'm not gonna be able to sleep knowing that somebody got scammed because they were running. You know what I mean? Somebody bought the numbers, and then those individuals that bought the numbers scammed somebody. You know, so yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's just you know, it's I think. I know that it's the carrier's responsibility to make sure they don't get scammed, that make sure everything is legit and things like that. But I think me adding on to that fire, you know what I mean? It's not, it doesn't help it. You know, you got a lot of new carriers that are coming into the industry. You got a lot of new people coming into the industry all the time. You know, and they're not gonna know everything. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be able to see the signs. You know, like some of the signals that are given to them, and the next thing you know, they get scammed. And I think that's pretty crappy, man. That's pretty scumbag of somebody doing that. You know. There was a couple of people that I already called, and I told him, man, how do you sleep at night? And he's like, and he asked me, what do you mean? I was like, how do you sleep at night knowing you're scamming somebody? You know, and I already know the load was a scam. So and then he just hung up on me, you know. So anyway, yeah, it's just it's crazy. Like people have no morals like that. You know what I mean? We live with people like that, and that's the thing. It's like that's the thing with trucking. You know, like a lot of these different outfit, different directions in trucking, or the vast width of the trucking industry just allows for that, you know, to happen. You know, oh, definitely, it's a wild jungle. Definitely, 100%, man. And yeah, trucking without a clue. I like that name, man. And listen on to a carrier. Is that safer bet? Yes and no. Uh, knowing knowing the you have to know that carrier, man. You have to know that they are very, you know what I mean. You can't just be like, okay, it they're they rely 100% on the load board. I think if you rely 100% on the load board, I think you got problems. I think if you don't have direct customers and you leased onto those carrier, right? I mean, a good dispatcher within that carrier can still do it for you. Okay, but I you have to be able to pick them. You know what I mean? You have to be able to choose them, right? You got to make sure you're picking the right carrier, man. If if that's if that's your you I think dark, dark main, I think you'd be better off with, for me, I think you're better off with, say, someone like Landstar. Yes, I know they take like 30% or whatever, but you get to learn the industry and you get to navigate, properly where things are, on how to get to things, you know what I mean, on how to properly place your truck strategically so it's in a good area. They never go to, like, say, here in Las Vegas. If you're open deck, never go to Las Vegas. I don't care how much it pays. I mean, if it was paying like $6 a mile, yeah, let's go. And you could deadhead right back. Or maybe pick up something partial. But I doubt that those load happens. Let's say you're going from like Indiana or something like that, and then you can see a load that's going paying the 350 a mile going to Las Vegas. I don't think that's a good idea. No. So. Okay. I'm leased on to Bennett for 3 years and couldn't be happier. There you go. And you know what? Bennett do have a lot of good accounts, man. Bennett has a lot of good accounts, and I would say that because when they outsource their work to third party, like someone like me, and they're usually good rates. So yeah. I want my own truck lease onto a tanker carrier like Keenan Advance and Specialized. Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to speak on tanker. I think as a general rule, I think if they look like they might be established or something like that, I would say this is probably pretty safe to go to them. Just like trucking without a clue. Bennett, very established. As a matter of fact, I would say their rates compete with Landstar. Landstar is way too big, man. Landstar has a lot of things going on, and Landstar is one of those things that it's just an organization with the politics inside. There's a lot of politics going on within the Landstar, so not I mean, it was good, man. Like I said, I am very limited. Okay, most people just don't they still don't understand my situation. I'm very limited to what I can do, okay, as far as trucking, because I got the little one with me, the toddler, right? And I've taken her out twice now, right, on long haul. And you would think 400 miles not long haul, and that's what I have taken her to, 400 miles. And let me tell you, she cannot handle it, and I don't. And it's crazy that I don't even see that. Like 400 miles, I don't even feel 400 miles. That's nothing to me. You know what I mean? But like for somebody else, like Vic, right? He's telling me, "Oh man, I had to drive 280 miles, man, and I'm tired, man." So it's like, really? That's like I'm I'm on my second cup of coffee for 280 miles, and I'm just getting started. So yeah, Amazon was it was good, right? So I had to bobtail all the way to Salt Lake, and for Amazon, because they for some reason they just bobtail me all the way down there. It makes no sense. It's a spot load. They should not be bobtailing me. They should have just canceled that whole thing. But they paid me almost $1,700 to go to Salt Lake bobtail. That's basically what happened. And then on the way back, I was able to find a tow-away trailer on the DAT load board to come back here and drop it off. For that was $900. So it's what is that, $2,500? Go back and forth. Bobtail one way and then tow away back the other way. So yeah, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I think Dark Main, to answer that second question, Specialized is the way to go. if you ask me. Even like last year, I even talk about it, right? That the best way to be in trucking is to be different, right? Anything that is different, that is less desired, that's the way to go. If you're doing everything on your own, if you're wearing all the hats, right? If you have all the hats on that company, being different, being unique is the way to go, because those loads usually they are offered for a lot more per mile. But if you're just like on general freight all across the board, and if you plan for general freight all across the board, I think you have a lot more competition, and that's why it's not a unique thing. You know what I mean? That's why it's a lot less negotiation with that. So the levy says, "Hey, brother, is it a quick start working with Amazon, or should I get that load board?" No. Now it's not easy to get set up with Amazon. You have to, number one, your authority has to be at least 6 months, right? Yeah, I think it's either 30 days or 90 days or 6 months. Yeah, y'all let me know. All my Amazon haulers, man. I think it's 6 months though. I think it's 6 months. So your authority has to have an age of 6 months. What that means is that like you have to have an insurance that's nonstop, right? From let's say 6 months from now, there was no break in insurance at all. You know, but yeah, you can't, and you probably give it another month for you to get in, and also you have to consider score. They're looking at score now. Okay, they're pulling data from the federal. They're looking at score, your inspections, your clock, right? All of these, they're all factoring all of this. If they see your number to be not, safe or whatever, or you have too many inspections, failed inspections, they're not gonna let you on. So, uh, trucking without a clue. What is the plan for your step? You know, probably the step deck. If we did have to do the unthinkable, the step deck is probably more than likely in the beginning. It's gonna go to over there to Parker. It's gonna be parked over there at Parker's, and probably we're gonna keep that, and then make a game plan for it after that. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if I can find somebody who's willing to take over the payments, hey, more than welcome to it. I hate to get rid of the trailer because I paid so much upfront to the trailer already. But it is what it is, right? Uh, it's okay. I was only able to reuse it for a little bit over a year. As a matter of fact, actually, not even a solid year, not a solid year running it. I was really happy with it, believe it or not. I'm very happy with it. I'm still happy with it. It's just that they can't put it to work. Like not with me at least. My plan actually was to wait until the end of the year, right, and see where insurance is. So if insurance was to reduce, say, from 19K to let's say 14K, and that's what I was expecting, around that, 14-ish or so, and around, a little bit over $1,000 a month. You know what I mean? And I would be happy with that. And I think I have enough to offer that I can convince for someone to come on with the authority, you know what I mean? And they can run under those numbers, and I can dispatch them out, just to continue, running or whatever, right? But when insurance is at $1,600 a month, I don't think that's something, I can honestly, offer somebody, to come on board with. You know what I mean? It's just $1,600 a month it's a little hard pill to swallow, really, when it comes to insurance. So, and it's looking like it's gonna be around $1,600 a month, maybe more. So, get a hold of you. Listen, let me see. I'm interested, and we have worked for you here at Bennett. I've got a 48 flat and market for a step deck. Just won a first truck and trailer, first trip out on the 15th. Hey, congrats, man. Good luck, man. On the 15th of December. Okay, nice. What kind of trailer? Yeah, trucking without a clue. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. How can I comment this? Can I comment? No, I can't. Okay. Here's. Let me see. Okay, you can email me. Is trucking Pinoy. Okay, that's TR. I should have. I can't put it in the comments. I guess I don't know if I can or not. Anyway, trucking Pinoy at gmail.com. TRUCKING PINOY at gmail.com. Email me there, man. Then we can exchange some more information there or whatever. Uh, you can't rent out your trailer. Mm, you mean? Are you asking the question? I can rent out the trailer. I absolutely can. If as long as we get right down. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. As long as we do all the proper paperwork and stuff like that, it shouldn't be no problem. The finance company don't care where that trailer. As long as that payment is being made, and it's insured, that's the only thing they care about. So, 40 foot. What kind of trailer is that? What commodity is that? Let me see. Sean. Yeah. Okay, Sean says, "What's your advice on getting loads with brand new authority?" Oof, I've heard first 6 months are the hardest. Yes. Um, man, a 40-foot trailer. What kind of trailer is that? Just out of curiosity, before I can confidently answer. Gooseneck. Okay, so we're talking about hot shot, right? Yeah, we're probably talking about hot shot. So, yeah. I hate to say it, man. Galeria says, "Good luck." Yes, it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a real tough one. Um, I think I think you're the only one who's gonna know this, man. A lot of people, you know what I mean. I would say, don't be scared of doing partials, man. Don't like know your numbers, right? What I mean by that, it would take you well. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Okay, but knowing your numbers, right? Knowing your numbers, man, it's a really, 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 really key thing, right? So let's say your expenses are like $1.80 a mile. You know what I mean? And you have some type of partial that's coming. Let's say you're coming out of Vegas, and then you have a partial that's paying 90 cents a mile or whatever. Time wise and things like that. Do you take that? Let's say going east. Uh, do you take that? Knowing the Vegas market, I would take it. It's sad to say, but I would take it. 98 cents a mile, 98, because that's gonna more than likely it's gonna be light, right? Whatever that is, obviously it has to be light, but at least it'll get me out of a bad situation. It'll get me out of a bad situation, and then I'm not wasting time. Okay, the time isn't killer, man. Time will kill you in trucking. The time it just keeps on ticking, right? So sometimes you just gotta take the L, right? Sometimes you have to, and a lot of people, they do that, in trucking, is that they learn the hard way in that manner. You know what I mean? But I guarantee you, you're not gonna be taking that 250 a mile coming from the Midwest back to Las Vegas after you go into that kind of situation. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I would say gooseneck is definitely, I would say, good luck. That's a lot more competition in there, because the reason why you're competing with also people like me, right? Because a lot of your freight is gonna be flatbed, right? So you're competing with people like me. There's a lot of us out here. You're competing with people with a flatbed trailer, regular 53-foot flatbed. So you're also competing with other people with goosenecks. Okay, you're also competing with people with box trucks. Okay, so it's a lot of competition for you, man. That's why Galer Galer what's that? Galerin said, "Good luck." Yeah, it's true, man. He's not talking negatively, because that is the reality that you are on right now. It's gonna be a tough one, man. Really. It ain't gonna be easy, right? But I think I think you're the only one who's gonna know how to navigate that situation, man. Really, because you're actually in it. You know what I mean? I can only see it from outside looking in. And I think it's yeah. There you go, partials, man. Partials will definitely get you there, and I believe I think I think actually if you can afford to go direct, man. What I mean by that is like a lot of your direct people, right? They when you invoice them out, you know what I mean, it's gonna take them a while to pay. Okay. I think if you can afford to do that, I would say start knocking on doors, man. People like metal places, hey, listen, I got this truck, I got this, I got that. Just knock on their door, man, and be like, hey, you got any shipping that's coming out tomorrow or whatever, you know what I mean? Or maybe sometime soon, like if you're in the area, especially if you're in a gooseneck, you can just disconnect from your gooseneck and boom, you know what I mean? And look up, metal fab or things like that, and then just start knocking on doors, man. I should be taking my own advice and doing that same thing, but it's just like I said, man. I am so my time, man. I got time for me. It's just I have little pockets of time. You know what I mean? And those pockets of time are not really they're not being used properly. I should say that. TQL is the only one that gave me loads when I first started. Yeah, it's true. And you see, that's the thing. Like people talk about bad about TQL, but hey, they offered that kind of situation, right? They offer that to you, but they're gonna skim off the top, and you gotta expect that. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody else gonna work with you, and they know this. Ain't nobody else gonna work with you. They know this, So they're not that dumb. You know what I mean? But if I think if you can survive, through partials and doing that, and hopefully, make it to the 6 month mark where everybody, other people start taking you in, and then maybe eventually by that time you're able to, get with somebody direct or whatever, start knocking on people or whatever. Per piece should be close to $1.50 a mile. It's ideal. Then just add from there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Bad idea to lease under another's authority for some time. Hey, it's never a bad time to lease on somebody, especially if they're gonna be able to allow you to achieve the numbers that you want to achieve. Okay. Now I think leasing on somebody is you have to do a lot of if they're doing 100% load board, man, they have to be a really good dispatcher. Okay. And somebody who can just get behind a computer and start typing, locations, things like that. That's not a good dispatcher. Trust me. It takes a lot more than that to be a good dispatcher. Okay, it takes knowing the area, knowing the market. You know what I mean? Knowing how to get you to that market, knowing that there's gonna be this load that's gonna be available for that individual to come out of that market. That's what a good dispatcher is, knowing the actual market. And I know not everybody's gonna be born to be a good dispatcher, right? But somebody who's never been in the industry or never been involved in in freight, moving freight itself, or moving people around, that's not going to be your good dispatcher. Knowing how to just look on the phone, look for a load, search for a load, that doesn't make you a good dispatcher. 100%, trust me. So okay, yeah, it was a sacrifice. I had to do my authority, and like you said, solicit your services. Yup. There you go, man. There you go. There you go. And that's the way to do it, man. Really. I think if I yeah, man. Yeah, you're welcome, man. And like I said, good luck to you, man. Really. It's just see this like I would always sway people from going into a bad situation. But if you're already in a situation, man, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? just adapt and overcome. You know what I mean? Just try to adapt to it, see what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Just that's all you can do. You know, like hey, a lot of times people that get discouraged so fast and be like, ah man, I can't do it, man. You know, yeah, I mean, but have you tried hard enough? You know what I mean? Have you actually tried hard enough? You know, so there was a time when Bennett would bring in TQL loads to cover areas where we have no work, and they put a stop to it. Allegedly, they owe Bennett 300,000. Woof! Wow, man. Yeah. See, the problem with TQL, man, TQL has some good loads, man. They have some good brokers, man. But they also have way too many bad brokers. Way too many. You know, and those junior brokers, man, they're not helping the situation at all. You know, I've had these young brokers, you know, junior brokers, just hang up on me because I asked for this amount. You know what I mean? It's like, really, man, your job is to sell that doggone load. You know, maybe you should ask me, why would you want this much? I mean, this lane normally pays this much. You know, like, why aren't you trying to convince me why your rate is good enough? You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say, man, listen, Sean, there are some brokers at TQL that are like that. Absolutely 100% just greedy. Okay. But at the same time, man, you got to think the TQL is a big brokerage. Okay. So there's a lot of different brokers within that. You see what I mean? I'm not defending TQL whatsoever, but you will find good loads with TQL. I would say 3% out of the 100%. You know, maybe 97% of them will be bad, but there's that 3% that would have good loads. So I would never discredit them. I would never, not call them for any kind of load whatsoever. I've always said that in the past. You know, I never ever count them out. You know, you can always make that phone call and be like, hey man, listen, you know, this and that. So yeah, I love TQL, but you need to make contact with a good broker. There you go. There you go. Don't burn bridges. Absolutely 100%. Don't burn bridges, man. As much as I want to tell somebody off sometimes, man, but you can't. You can't do it. Get out of your personal feelings. Get out of your personal feelings and do it. Do it professionally. You know what I mean? Trust me. I'm one of those individuals that be like, oh man, like, what? How do you have the nerve to post something like that at such a ridiculous rate? But I never actually go through it and ask them directly because they could easily ban you, and that's one closed door that should have never been. You know what I mean? So TQL, the Amazon of the load board. Yeah, I'll probably agree with that. Yeah, there's a certain percentage that it was gonna be good. Yes. Okay, Sean says, I'm wondering if a driver finishing up and actually picked up a TQL load for Monday morning today. Huh? I don't understand it. I'm working, not wondering. I'm working as a driver, finishing up, and actually picked up a TQL load for Monday morning today. Okay, nice, man. Yeah, I mean, it's all. See, the thing with as a carrier, man, is you have to know the market, man. You have to study the market. You have to stay on that load board, man. You have to position your vehicle, make sure it's in the right place. And when you see something that looks so good, you make sure you take a second look at it because it might be bringing you to a bad area. And that's why I think, uh, like me, for me personally, I think if we're, let's say we're live right now, right? And I'm at the house, it's just, if if a carrier has some type of question and pops in our live real quick, hey, listen, man, I got this load going here, this and that, this and that, this and that, and it looks good. It looks like it's gonna pay real good. What do you think? I can definitely, right off the top of my head, if it's open deck, I could tell you yes or no right away. You know, uh, so I think that's some of the things that I think that would help. You know what I mean? being on live, right? I know some people are gonna get tired of looking at my face. You can look at the toddler too if you wanted to. But anyway, I think that's a good platform to be able to go into right away and be like, hey man, listen, I don't think that's a good idea to take, man. Why not? Let's go take a look at the load board real quick. Boom. You got this one. I mean, you're trying to salvage your day, right? You got this one paying, $900, but it's going to bring you in a good area. Take that one instead. Something like that, right? Those are some of the things that I think that are really missing in the industry. Those kind of tactics, right? A lot of new carriers are coming in, you know what I mean, and they see a load on the load board and be like, oh man, that's so good, right? And then next thing you know, boom, they do that one time and then they do it again and then they do it again, and then eventually that's why what is it, 2 years is your average, you know what I mean, that the new carriers survive in the industry because they make those mistakes, and the ones that profit off those mistakes is shippers and brokers, man. Yeah. There you go. Just yeah, man. Sean, study the regions that you need to go or you need to be at, and that would eliminate a lot of your headaches. Trust me. So, I mean, it's good that you know them. You know the areas or whatever. So, yeah. See, look at Parker. You got 3 loads with TQL right now. So, and I guarantee you they're good loads. So it's not. Don't count out TQL, man. Make sure you keep them open. Well, I'm all in 130K. 130K arrived yesterday. Trailer comes Thursday. Nice, man. 130K. So, what is it? Like 90K probably for the truck, huh? Is it a brand new truck? What is it? 3,500 or 55? Man, I hope it's not 25. 2,500 that thing would not last long. So you probably 85K. Okay. Dang, that's those trailers are that much, huh? 3,500. Okay. What is it? Cummins? $350. Okay. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And there it is. Galerid said it. The detention terms, man. Most brokers will have that detention terms on the Raycon, and there's some that would not. As a matter of fact, there was one broker that was okay. The thing about cash on delivery, right? Collect on delivery. A lot of them, they don't do that. And I ran into that 2 years ago or something like that. Man, I swore up and down. I was so mad. I was into my feelings. I was so mad about at that broker because of what they did, right? Because they're not paying Tonu, because on their policy it does say that if it's collect on delivery, they don't pay Tonu. But if it was, a regular load that they had, they pay Tonu obviously. But yeah. So there you go. Yeah, man. It's a dirty world out here, man. And that's the thing, like with new carriers, man, and a lot of these brokers, and that's why brokers have the outlook that they do have, that they are criminals and things like that. They're really not, believe it or not. When they see a situation, a lot of people will take advantage of a situation. You know what I mean? But if they know, if they have an idea that you are not some new chump or whatever, they're probably not gonna try to get over on you. That's why Parker is speaking the way he does. He's like, yeah, and he's like, everybody's a good broker. It's true, 100%, man. Everybody can brokerage, and they're probably good people. But when some new people or whatever, they see a situation, they're gonna take advantage of it, and that's human nature. You know what I mean? And people use what you can usually tell, right? If somebody is gonna easily, fold or accept a situation, and that a broker makes extra money because of it, they're gonna take advantage of that situation. So it's a free market, and you can't blame them for it. You really can't. The only thing I could say is never work with that broker again. That's it. So All right, Parker, man. Good night, brother, man. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Yeah. Yeah, never put 100% trust on a broker, always question their situation or what their intent, I mean, just anybody really, it doesn't matter who it is, I mean, I guess unless family members, right? So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and end this live here, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This thing went 91 minutes. I love it. I love it because you guys are asking legitimate question, man, and I love that, let's keep doing this, you know what I mean? It'll advance you a lot faster, within the trucking industry, I think I think that's what we're missing, like I said, like look at Sean, right? People are gonna come in no matter what the industry, right? Let's face it, because I'm not gonna be here forever, you know what I mean? So people are always gonna come in, but I think the best thing that we can do to those people, is give them advice, you know what I mean? Sean, I am always gonna speak truth to you. You may not want to hear it, you may not like to hear it, but I'm always gonna speak the truth, you know what I mean? Because I'm not trying, I don't want to set you up for failure, man. And that's why I think everybody should be. That's how everybody should be, it's gonna be a tough situation for Sean, man. It really is. I'm not even gonna lie. But I think if you stick to it and try to, navigate around it, I think you can do it, man. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and end the vlog here. But that's the update. I think I'm gonna be busy this weekend, so hopefully I can make some video, some content. But if not, that's okay, man. Uh, uh, yeah, man, you're welcome, man. Keep shining side up, brother. All right, I appreciate you, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Have a good weekend if I don't get to see you again. But I'm going to try to work hard this weekend. I'm going to try. All right, we'll see y'all, man.